Hello everyone, welcome to Inside Winston Cup Racing. Today we're in Dawsonville, Georgia at the Melling Race Shops. Now every race fan knows that Bill Elliott will not be driving for Melling in 1992. He will be driving for Junior Johnson and the Budweiser team. That doesn't mean this shop is closed down, not by any means. In fact, they perhaps have more going on here than they've ever had before. There'll be 3 different drivers racing cars out of these shops. Phil Parsons, of course, will be the primary driver in the Winston Cup car for Harry Melling, and Bill Elliott will still run a Busch Grand National car out of here in selected events, and Greg Trammell will run in some ARCA races. So they do have a lot going on. And we have a lot for you in this half hour of Inside Winston Cup Racing, and here's what's coming up.
Over the past 13 seasons, Ernie Elliott produced the engines that powered his brother Bill to the finish line first 34 times. But times are changing, and this season will be the first time Ernie's engines find their way out of the family. Ned talks to Ernie about his changing role in Winston Cup competition.
You feeling that in the hamstrings?
We'll take a look at 2 teams muscling up for 1992. The crews of Kyle Petty and Alan Kulwicki are using exercise and nutrition to get them in shape for the racing season.
In this week's Flashback, we'll go back to the Daytona 500 from 1986. Bill Elliott sat on the pole and was a favorite, but in the end it was a fuel battle between Jeff Bodine and Dale Earnhardt. Jeff held on for his first and only Daytona 500 victory.
Inside Winston Cup Racing is brought to you by coal-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. And by Goodyear, maker of the world's most successful tires, the Goodyear Eagles.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Experience the drama, danger, and dedication of Daytona in this new CBS Sports home video.
Oh, I won the Daytona 500! I won the Daytona 500!
From the rough and tumble days on the beach right through the finish of the 1991 Daytona 500. Relive the most exciting finishes in auto racing history. To order by credit card, call 1-800-999-VIDEO. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication. It's just $19.98 plus $3 shipping and handling. Only a pit pass will get you closer to the action.
Shower yourself with a new sensation. New refreshing Shield. Feel the blast. The high-energy beat of Shield's unique skin-vigorating formula. Refreshment that'll turn you around. New refreshing Shield.
Hello there, Kathy Martindale from Video PM.
And I'm Paul Martin from the Group Exile, filling in for Gary Beatty.
Yeah, where was that guy on Friday?
I don't know, but I'm still sitting here waiting on him to show up.
I hope he has a note from his teacher. We'll see you on Monday's Video PM.
Bill Elliott and his brothers Dan and Ernie ran their first NASCAR Winston Cup race back in 1976. Certainly this operation has come a long way since then, and Ernie Elliott has been a major part of the team all along. He was the crew chief and he headed up the engine department as well, but now that Bill is not the driver here, his role is going to change a little bit. Ernie, first of all, I guess, are changing your role a little bit this year, but you're going to be awfully busy. Let's establish what all you are going to be doing.
Well, we're going to do a Busch Grand National program for Bill, engines. We're going to do a Winston Cup engine program for Melling, and we're also going to do a Winston Cup engine program for Kenny Bernstein. So we're going to be a little busy.
Is that the most that you've ever done in the engine department?
Yes and no. We have done in years past, Ned, an awful lot of the engines here. We don't, but it was more a development role other than now a situation we've got to produce race motors. But I don't see it changing things very much.
Are you still going to be going to as many races as you have in the past?
Yeah, I'll continue. I'll go to all the races. That's, you've almost got to go to know what to do, what changes are being made. You know, it's why all of us know competition changes from week to week, and you need to be there to kind of keep an eye on your competition, see what they're doing.
Has the technology changed so much that the cost is getting out of hand, and as far as engines are concerned?
Well, I think it's been out of hand for several years. I'm really looking forward to 92 because I think that, you know, as we all know, Gary Nelson is a new director of competition, and what he has done is taken steps to standardize everything that we run. In other words, there's a standard head for a Ford, there's a standard head for a Chevy. I think that with this standardization, we're going to see a dramatic decrease in amount of money that you would spend over the course of a year in just cylinder head development. Because there was a lot of situations we were getting into that, you know, just the welding on the cylinder head alone could be $10,000, $12,000. And so you ended up with a set of cylinder heads that you had $25,000 in that were good for a couple of races, and that's all. With the situation we have now, the parts will be more durable because they're, you know, they're factory-made pieces. You're not allowed to alter them that much. And I think the level of competition will still be real good, but the expense will just go down.
Do you get a great feeling of accomplishment when you find that 3 or 4 or 5 more horsepower?
Oh yeah, I mean that's what you do it for. I mean that's, you know, you know, it's just, you know, the thrill for the drivers on the racetrack is, you know, being able to lead the race and win the race. You know, that's, you know, we get the same enjoyment being able to be in the motor shop here and see, you know, engine gains on the dyno. If we can, you know, produce a set of heads that flow a little bit more air, and then we ultimately end up and put them on the motor and they produce a few more horsepower, then, you know, it's a very satisfying situation.
1985, you folks were absolutely on top of the world, winning everything. You've run good since then, certainly, and been competitive, won the championship since then. What makes a difference in when you do so well and then things don't go so well?
Well, I think it's just a combination of things, Ned. Number one, you know, just like so many other people, you have, when you have exceptional years, people tend to judge everything against that exceptional year. And, you know, there's a lot of cases that, I know Richard Petty said it many times, that he'd rather be lucky than good any day. And that's the truth. And in '85, luck just fell our way. You know, there was a lot of cases that we didn't have the best race car. We had a 4th, 5th place race car, but yet we still won the race. And, you know, part of it was done with execution. We were able to execute better in the pits, or made a little bit better judgment call than somebody else made. And then later down the road, you make those very same calls in a very similar situation, and you're not a hero on that day. So, you know, so I think it's the luck of the draw.
I'm sure that a lot of fans in this part of the country that have been Elliott fans for years, the whole family, and now that they've broken up a little bit, what is the atmosphere around here as far as race fans are concerned?
Well, it's not really changed. You know, I don't think that's really changed anything at all. You know, it's going to be different. But, hey, you know, that's life. I mean, you know, everybody's got to do what they've got to do. And, I mean, Bill's situation, you know, he had a very good opportunity. And it's just like I told him, you know, months ago, you know, the best thing he can do is take the situation that was offered to him. It's a situation anymore, I feel, that whenever a good opportunity comes along, you need to look very closely at it. And if it's something that'll benefit you, you know, I figure that, you know, that on down the road, you know, we're going to have plenty of involvement together. So I don't really, you know, I mean, he's still my brother, so you know, that doesn't change anything very much.
You know, Ernie Elliott seems to be right where he wants to be now, and that is building engines, and he certainly has a challenge ahead of him for 1992. We need to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at how some teams prepare their personnel, team fitness. Stay with us.
Well, I think the first couple months they were definitely coming after him, but I think they're behind it.
Wrapped in the arms of love is where I'll be.
He's had 22 #1 hits,
For all the world to
14
see.
gold albums.
You're something special to me.
George Strait.
But all my exes live in Texas.
Now Heartland Music presents Entertainer of the Year George Strait in a special collection of all his best-loved hits.
It ain't good to be crazy about you.
George's songs touch so many people because they're honest and real.
I said daddies don't just love their children every now and then. It's a love without end, amen. That's what I get. I've come to expect it from you.
You'll love every song.
So what's going on in your world? It sure is lonesome.
All your favorite George Strait hits.
You got to have an ace in the hole.
Together for the first time.
A little secret that nobody knows.
But remember,
I got some oceanfront property.
this special 2-record collection is not in stores. Please order now.
You look so good in love.
To order, call toll-free 1-800-345-1900 to save all COD charges and pay only $12.98 for records or cassettes or $19.98 for 2 CDs, plus $3 shipping. Use your credit card or send check or money order to George Strait, P.O. Box 94040, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Remember, save COD charges by sending check or money order or use your credit card.
TNN explores America. Oklahoma has proclaimed 1992 as Year of the Indian. More American Indians live there than in any other state. Oklahoma's honoring these Native Americans from some 36 different tribes through special events and programs. All year long, they're sharing their culture through arts and crafts, powwows, dances, music, and stories. 1992, Year of the Indian in Oklahoma.
Coming up next Sunday morning on TNN Motorsports Magazine at 11:30 Eastern, we'll tell you how the 24 Hours of Daytona is coming along. Plus, we'll talk with Davey Allison by satellite from Phoenix, where he'll be racing in the Copper Classic. And we'll take you to the NHRA Winter Nationals for their season opener.
TNN Motorsports Magazine, First Edition, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, Sports Sunday on TNN.
These fellows here at Melling Racing are hard at work preparing for the Daytona 500, as are most teams around the country this time of the year. We've talked a lot in the past about drivers and how they prepare themselves both physically and mentally for the stress of a 500-mile race. Well, there's a lot of strain and stress on the employees as well, and some teams are taking it a step further from the driver and getting their team in shape.
Petty's crew isn't hoping to simply pedal their way to victory lane this season, but fueled by proper nutrition and shaped by a combination of weights and running, this team is hoping for a healthy and wealthy new year. The Charlotte-based personal training company Health and Sport Works has built a plan of strength training and cardiovascular conditioning, supplemented by some firm but flexible diet maintenance menus.
Come on, make it a good one. Up and squeeze. Good. Why don't you go to hammer curls?
Today, counting calories has become as critical as counting laps. The shift toward a more health-conscious crew is a reflection of the get-in-shape philosophy of the 90s, In this race against the scale, the goal is to develop a sleeker, stronger style that will produce more horsepower at the track.
We feel so good.
You feel that come race day, this will give you guys a little extra edge?
It will. No, I tell you, when you don't work out, from experience, you don't usually feel good till about the third or fourth race of the season. You know, it gets, you can always do one or two good stops, but as the day wears on, it kind of works on you a little bit. I'm sure we'll be a lot better off by being able to do this. High knees to the tires. And explode, Barry. Go. Go.
Don't hurt too bad.
Breathing awfully heavy.
Wonder why.
We spent the first 3 months of the program working on their overall strength, and entire body strength, and cardiovascular along with that, including running and on the bike, stair climber, and so on and so forth. Now that we're getting closer to race season, we're working on their power moves, their agility, as well as their endurance to be able to hang tight for the 4 hours during the races. So that's the main goal.
Yeah, they made up a routine for us in the beginning. Told us what every day we come in here, we have a certain routine we go through, and we use our lunchtime to do half of this, and they bring food for us on the 3 days they do come.
You through? You finished? Now we're going to your pack here. Let me put some weight on here, Dick.
This team wants to funnel the poise and pressure of performing a perfect pit stop into the desire and determination demanded by a regimented fitness routine. Both require proper execution and are rewarded with personal satisfaction.
Come on, Dane, let's do 5 more. You can do it. Push hard. 5, come on. That's 4. Excellent.
At Alan Kulwicki Racing, the work stops and the workouts start about 11:30. Similar to the scenario at Sabco, the Hooters team performs the pedaling, pulling, pushing, and pumping program under the watchful eye of Scott Seacrest and Dee Jatan, and the dreaded food police.
Fried chicken? Yeah, well, you see fried chicken about halfway down the list there?
Oh, which skin?
Yeah. Okay, 12 grams of fat per ounce. Isn't that what it
In
is?
3 weeks, the guys are motivated, a lot more energetic. They feel better, they look better. So it's really fun for me.
They don't hate you yet, huh?
They don't even hate me. The first day, they were so very sore. They were just like, they hobbled in the next day and they were really cussing us. But I think they're over the soreness now and they're into the really productive stage of their training. So we're very pleased.
Owner, driver, and participant Kulwicki believes the investment will pay off with interest.
2 more.
At first I thought, well, I'm going to use up all my energy working out in the middle of the day and be tired, but actually I think it increases your energy, and haven't really found myself to be tired after these workouts. Hopefully it's going to help the guys on the pit stops too. I was concerned whether we could make the time during the day to do this, but they seem to be sticking to it pretty well right now, and they seem to be more enthused about it than I thought they would, really.
Come on. You can do it. 2. Come on, last one. Hold it. What a face. Right.
What's going to be the hardest part? The part upstairs or
I think this will be the hardest.
Yeah, the hours that we work and what we got to do, this is going to be the hardest.
How about breaking old habits? No more French fried lunch and,
That's going to be tough.
One thing at a time.
We'll go test it right now.
I like that concept. I think it can have a very positive effect. Hey, I want to remind you of our live show, a very special edition of Inside Winston Cup Racing that'll be coming up on Sunday night, February the 16th at 9 o'clock. It'll be a call-in show. Be sure to remember that. We need to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have a NASCAR flashback, and we'll also have the mailbox, so you stay with us.
What this race means, I don't know when it'll sink in or when it'll all happen. Right now, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to us.
These championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say, The best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Start a project with Minwax wood finish and turn new into treasured, ordinary into extraordinary, even pine into cherry. Because Minwax wood finish makes it easy to turn any project into a beautiful masterpiece. Minwax makes wood beautiful.
Shower yourself with a new sensation, new refreshing Shield. Feel the blast. The high-energy beat of Shield's unique skin-vigorating formula. Refreshment that'll turn you around. New refreshing Shield.
This year, the excitement of the Daytona 500 doesn't have to end with a checkered flag. Join host Ned Jarrett following the running of the Daytona 500 by STP and call in to speak with NASCAR's greatest stars on Inside Winston Cup Racing, live from Daytona, only on TNN. Coming Sunday, February 16th, here on TNN.
Mark Martin, Dorsey Schrader, and Wally Dallenbach Jr. are three thoroughbreds in the Roush Racing stable. They compete against one another in the Winston Cup Series, but this weekend they're a team, tackling Daytona's demanding Rolex 24-hour endurance race. We'll have the story.
We'll also look back at one of the best teams in the past decade, the Melling Racing team, and we'll look ahead at Melling Racing's new driver and new challenge.
We'll also continue our Road to Daytona series and check in with our teams. Final preparations are being made as the Great American Race is only 2 weeks away.
Well, the Daytona 500 is just around the corner 2 weeks from today, so we thought it would be appropriate for our NASCAR flashback today to deal with a past Daytona 500 from a few years ago.
Bill Elliott was the odds-on favorite to win the Daytona 500. He'd won it the year before, and he was the pole sitter for this event, but he had a 41-car obstacle to get over. By the third lap, outside pole sitter Jeff Bodine in the Levi Garrett Chevy had moved into the lead, with Dale Earnhardt right behind. The annual kickoff claimed some of the series' best-known stars early in the event. Bobby Allison was the first to exit with a blown motor. Richard Petty was finished before halfway. He cut a tire and ended up in the wall. He also dislocated his shoulder in the accident. Neil Bonnet had transmission problems and was forced behind the wall for 20 laps while they put a new one in. However, upon his return on lap 117, Bonnet spun out in turn 4 and a chain reaction wreck occurred. A total of 9 cars were involved, most of which were top 10 contenders. Cale Yarborough had too much damage to continue. Joe Ruttman finished. Harry Gant done. As Bill Elliott entered the pits, he got turned around. He fell out of contention with handling problems. As the dust settled over Daytona, Bodine and Earnhardt locked up for a 2-car draft for the rest of the day. The last pit stop was the key. Bodine's was excellent, but the crew was worried about fuel mileage. Earnhardt's car stalled, and he lost 4 seconds to Jeff. Dale quickly closed the gap on Bodine. With 3 laps to go, Dale needed to stop for a splash of gas. He screamed down pit road and overshot his pit. To add insult to injury, he blew his motor. Bodine's crew gambled on gas and it paid off. With Earnhardt out, Jeff coasted home 11 seconds ahead of Terry Labonte to win his first and only Daytona 500, only 3 months after teaming up with Gary Nelson. The key to victory for Bodine was the last pit stop when Dale lost 4 seconds. Luckily for Jeff, Earnhardt turned out to be a non-factor.
Our car was a little loose, and he was getting a good draft, but he was handling well, and I just slowed up. I knew he was going to catch me, so we were slowing up to try to conserve our tires so we didn't overheat them, so we'd have something left there at the end. And we really slowed the pace down, but Dale was smart enough not to pass me because you don't want to be leading on the last lap here at Daytona. But it never got down to that last lap. Thank goodness for me.
Today's Mailbox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft.
Our question today is from Mary Williams of Rockford, Illinois, who writes, why doesn't NASCAR use no-lead gasoline? Mary, we'll get Mark Vieau, who works in the engine department here at Melling Racing, to answer that for you.
Well, Mary, thank you for asking that question. Now, I think in the future you will see the NASCAR organization using unleaded fuels. Without getting into the chemical makeup of gasoline, lead is added to the fuels to help inhibit engine knock or detonation, and at this point in time, the engine combinations we're running right now would not accept that. I think in time, as time allows, I should say, we'll work our combinations to work with the unleaded, and again, in the future, I think you will see it.
If you have any race questions, you can write to us at Inside Winston Cup Racing, Box 240-417, Charlotte, North Carolina 28224. Or you can now call us at 1-900-73-RACES. Charge is $1 per minute, average call 2 minutes. Fans 18 and under, get your parents' permission before calling. If we use your question on the air, you'll receive this embroidered Miller Genuine Draft jacket free. Fans 21 and under receive an IWCR cap and t-shirt. And you'll also receive Milton Bradley's Daytona 500 race game, officially licensed by NASCAR.
Well, our time's up for today. Hope you enjoyed the show, and our thanks to all the folks here at Melling Racing for allowing us to come into their very spacious shops here in Dawsonville, Georgia. We'll see you here next week on TNN.
Inside Winston Cup Racing has been brought to you by coal-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. And by Goodyear, maker of the world's most successful tires, the Goodyear Eagles. Transportation for Inside Winston Cup Racing provided by Fleetwood Enterprises, makers of a full line of excellent recreational vehicles. Communications for Inside Winston Cup Racing crew provided by Racing Radios, Forest Park, Georgia, the official communications of NASCAR.
TNN Motorsports Magazine, next